And welcome back to Common Sense for Relationships. I know you're wondering where I am, but we're here and it's going to be an interesting show today. Thank you so much for letting us into your space. And like we always say, on this show, we bring you valuable information to help you make better decisions in your lives and in your relationships. Yes, my name is Anese Bature, and for those of you who know me, you know I'm a certified coach, I'm a life coach, an engineer, singer, songwriter, author of the book Husband Material and the workbook Husband Material, which are practical guides to help you find the love of your life. Yes, and with me today in the studio is no other than my darling husband and co-host. I'll let him introduce himself.
Yes, thank you. My name, as usual, is Kingsley Bature, and I wear many hats. I'm an entrepreneur, but I'm a licensed family life practitioner. Yes, I'm also a therapist, a life coach, psychologist in the making, and a pastor. To those of you that know, you know us. Yes, so we are all things to all men. You have started now.
Sorry,
you have started
I'm
now.
Sorry, I'm just
responding
to the
this is the thing that you used to do. This is the thing that you used to do, that when you will just do it, and then everybody will think I'm the one that is the noisiest of us all. Meanwhile, you will just do your own and just use fine gear and just cover it. And then they won't even know that now you noise pass. It's just that me, I'm my own rough small, so that's why they know they teasing at me, but you are coded.
No. Don't say that. Well, whatever it's okay. Whatever you say, my lord. Okay. So Debbie, I see you're there already. Thank you so much for, as usual, always coming in on time.
Yes,
we really appreciate that.
Yeah.
And to everybody else who is on, I see we have people on Facebook.
Yes.
People on YouTube.
People on LinkedIn.
Yes, so this is really fantastic. You know, we always try to make this show very interactive. So it's not just us here who are involved in the conversation or in the discussion. We expect you all to join in. So whether you're leaving a chat, responding to what someone else has said in the chat, or if you really feel strongly like, hey, I have something to share and I feel everyone needs to hear me, not just read what I'm saying, then you can ask and we will send the link to you so you can dial in and be part of the conversation. So if you have not yet sent this to all the people you know, it's time to do that.
Yes,
but
send to your friends.
Yes.
Send to your enemies. Send to your enemies' friends. Because the issues that we talk about are things that people need to hear. So it's okay early on in the show to just click the share button if you are watching on YouTube, if you are watching on Facebook, if you're on LinkedIn. Just click the like, click the share, and just get the message across, because we're talking on real issues in the face of these present economic realities. Let me put it that way. We always have to pay attention to how people are doing. You know, I have this habit of asking how are you, and everybody, and you know, people, the default answer to how are you is fine. But most times people just give the answer without actually telling you anything about what they're going through. And people are going through stuff, you know.
Maybe if you sing it, they will answer you. Like if you just start to do, how are you, my friend? You'll just be like, I'm not doing so good. And then whichever title they choose to use, they answer you. Or you say, I'm fantastic, you know, something. Anyway. So, for everyone who is going through, our thoughts are with you, our prayers are with you. And you know, like Ron Kenoli said back in the day, if you're going through hell, don't stop.
Don't stop.
So just keep moving, just keep going, have faith, don't give up, don't throw away your hope. Keep your eyes on that bright and beautiful future, because it's possible. You know, it was this guy think it's, what's his name, Thomas Edison
Mm-hmm.
or so.
Mm-hmm.
No, it was Einstein that said something about imaginations being a picture of life's coming attraction. So you can get some things going by just actively imagining.
Just actively imagining.
Yes, especially when you think of the fact that even in the Bible, God tells us He's able to do more than we can ask
Or think.
more than you can ask or imagine. So, even if all you can do right now is dream, please go ahead and dream. If all you can do is imagine, by all means, imagine. There's no harm, nothing lost. Okay?
And something that you mentioned before we dive into what we have today, hope. Hope. You know, hope is something we should never give up on. I know that that right now there is this is the administration of renewed hope, and it's not looking very hopeful to a lot of people. There is renewed hope, but what we need to say is the hope itself, the proper hope, don't lose it, right? Just on the flip side, on the funny side, this guy during the week, I put up a post and people were just cracking up during the week on my status. During the week, I put up this guy's post, Victor Boniface, and they asked him, what words do you have to encourage, you know, upcoming football? See, he said, see, today in this day and age, they know they to encourage anybody. So if you want give up, just give up. But if you want hustle, put your head down and hustle.
In other words, don't wait for someone to
Don't
come
wait for
and
somebody
praise
to praise
or
you
to come and encourage you.
or to encourage
There's
you.
a place for you to encourage yourself.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Encourage
Yeah.
yourself and keep moving, because you really don't know what that person you are expecting to come and encourage you
Is going through. Is going
so rather
through.
than say nobody cares and so on, just tell yourself, hey, I can do this. Let me try. I'll give it one more shot and just keep going.
And that is part of the reason why we do this show, right? So that at least once a week we can tell you to keep going. Once a week we can tell you that the place where you are, there's someone that has been there. There are people that have been there. There are people that have been through there.
Yeah.
No be only you e bad for like that. Some people you don't bad for them, bad pass, but them too don't come pass. So you know, say your own no go finish for there.
Yeah.
And that's why we do this. So over to you, Ma. It's your show.
All right, everybody. Let's talk about what we have today. And you probably have seen it on our social media handles. We're talking about loneliness, and the topic is
Help.
I am so lonely. So it's not just I'm lonely, it's I'm so lonely. And really, this is an issue that a lot of people are dealing with, but people don't often speak up about it, because really sometimes it's what are you going to tell somebody, especially if you have friends, or let's say you are working somewhere where you have colleagues, or maybe you're in church or something, or you are in a community that there are people around you and people are expecting, hey, you have people around you, what are you saying about loneliness, you know? Or you are in a relationship, or you are married, and then you come and say, I feel lonely. Someone's like, are you okay? How can you say that you are lonely when you always have this person you're going out with around you, or you always have this person you're married to around you, or you even have children to add to the spouse? So how can you be speaking of loneliness? So this is the issue that we're going to address today, because the fact is, it is an issue, and a number of people have expressed the fact that they are either going through this or have gone through this and would like to know how to deal with it this time, or if ever they are faced with that situation, what to do so that it doesn't weigh them down and affect other aspects of their lives. So yes, help. I am so lonely. So I think I'd like to just throw it to you before we dive in too much. Have you ever been at a point in your life where you felt lonely. I am so lonely.
I think that question would be I don't think there's anyone that will say in their life they have never felt lonely. Really, if there is someone that has never felt lonely, I would almost be bold to say that they are not telling themselves the truth. Because everyone at some point has felt alone. It's a feeling that is common to all of us. We can relate, we can identify. Now, so we can talk about the times when I was a single guy. We can talk about the times when I am married.
Yeah.
You can talk about the times when you are married and your spouse is away.
Yeah.
Do you understand? These are different phases. You can talk about the times where both of you are together, but somehow you are alone in a marriage. So this topic is something that everyone can relate with at some times, and especially because of what we do as counselors, consultants, and therapists, you get to hear people who are in real life situations where you would say, oh, this person is popular, this person is active in church, this person is this person and the spouse are doing well, right, in quote, that because they are always. But when you listen to them speak, you would actually hear a hollow, like there's this emptiness, and they're saying, I'm lonely. So the question is, how do you find it? How do you do you understand?
You know, I'm just thinking, it must be that it is significant. If somebody actually sang, whose person that sang that song? Can you remember?
I don't even remember the person.
Because I come out, and I think what was really interesting about the song was the way the person sang it. You know, there's a way you come and say lonely, I am so lonely, and it sounds like, well, it's not really bad. But by the time you come and say lonely,
okay, I think it was Akon. It was Akon that sang it.
You know, even the tweak in the voice really sounded like, oh, this person is really lonely.
Yeah.
So I'll just do what I like to do, which is start with just some definition so that we can understand better the whole context of loneliness. Okay, so loneliness is the feeling of being alone or isolated. Okay, regardless of the actual amount of social contact. So you may be having social contact, right? Like you bump into people when you are in transit, you're sitting beside somebody on the bus,
you are going to church,
you're going to your office, all of
you are going to club, you are checking your social media distance, you are having social contact, you have social points,
different forms of social contact.
Yes,
it's a feeling of being alone or isolated regardless of the actual amount of social contact. Now the next thing, it often involves a lack of emotional connection. A lack of emotional connection, you know, because you just wonder, if I'm contacting people, then why should I be seen as, or why should I be experiencing loneliness? But really, you can be having social contact, but if there is no emotional contact with others, then there's a tendency for you to experience loneliness. Okay, it can be experienced even when you are surrounded by people. So loneliness can have significant emotional and physical health impacts. Can you imagine? Because you really think about it, sometimes you feel so alone that next thing you begin to feel so sad, and next thing you're beginning to feel, oh, I am kind of feeling sick, or in fact, next thing I'm having a fever, you curl up in bed and stuff. I mean, sometimes it can get that far. Sometimes it has other expressions when you talk about the health impact that loneliness has. And also the mental health.
Exactly. I was going to mention that the health impact goes because it can be degenerative.
Yes.
And you move from just being in that space to a place where your mind you move from, how do we put it? You move from physiological to psychological. So it just regresses, and the next thing you find out that the feeling that you are feeling in your mind becomes expressed by the feeling that you are expressing in your body.
Bros, be calming down.
I should calm down. I'll try.
Why I'm telling you to calm down now is because you will soon become like some people that when they're talking to some audiences, I will not be specific, some people have to carry dictionary because I've heard retrogressive, deteriorative,
Degenerative.
regressive. I mean, what so dumb, which kind? I beg, you calm down.
I'll calm down. I'll calm down.
Bottom line, it's gonna
Yes.
affect the well-being of people if it is not addressed.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So high point there is the fact that you have contact without engaging to establish emotional connections. So think about it. Peradventure you are currently feeling lonely, right? Or you can say, I am one of those right now who this topic is resonating with. Like, help! I am so lonely. Just take a moment to look and see, how have I been dealing with the people I come in contact with? Is it a touch and go? Is it get into the crowd, stay and participate in the activity without engaging anybody, and then at the end off you go? You know, there's a way you can be, maybe I'm so time conscious, I'm going to get there right at the time that this thing is going to start, and you get there, you find a good seat, the experience happens, you are participating without interacting with anyone, and at the end of the day, whoosh, you are off before all the follow-up. You know how they say fellowship after fellowship, or the post-event networking. While that is happening, you're gone. You're the first person to drive out of the parking lot or to hop on the bus and stuff like that. So think about it.
Yeah, you know, while as we are here, as we are diving in, yes, as we are here, as we are diving in, to me, it begins to show that some people may even be in the midst of people. They are not running away. They are not rushing off. But they are in the midst of people, and they cannot make that social connection.
Bros, you're in the spirit on the Lord's day.
Hallelujah.
You know why I'm saying this? Because that leads us right into the next part I would like to touch on, which is the causes
of loneliness. Yeah.
Yes, that's where you're leading me to, and I'll just take that before we now dive deeper into the emotional connections. So let's look at the causes of loneliness. Okay, the first one is social isolation. So this is just where you lack the opportunities to interact with people. So let's say you're somewhere, example, when you are when you have misbehaved in prison and they put you in solitary confinement. That's an example of social isolation. You cannot talk to anybody, you cannot relate to anybody. I mean, just imagine. But I mean, those occasions are rare, right? It's rare for you to be completely isolated like that, but that's one of the causes. Another is life transitions, and this one is key, because when people are, for instance, you move to a new city or you go to a new school, a new environment, stuff like that, you start work at a new office, it's like, okay, everybody's new, I've never met these people before. You know, you may not be fortunate to know somebody. Let's say maybe you resume at an office, you may not be fortunate to have one of the people from your school in that office, so you may be the only person, they've never seen you before, and it's like everybody is new. So that's an example of life transitions. And so momentary, right? If you deal well, then soon enough you will establish connections, but for that initial period, yes, you will experience loneliness. Another is loss. So loss, it could either be you've lost a loved one, maybe the person you really had this connection with, or you suffered a breakup. This person you felt, hey, I'm so connected to, now you have a breakup. So that's another cause of loneliness. Then of course there are mental health issues. Maybe you're experiencing depression and some other stuff that just makes you cut off. So I'm just going through this quickly so that you can identify, okay, which could be what is causing mine, because it's important to identify what could be triggering or causing or aggravating the loneliness that you are experiencing. The next is physical health problems. So this is where you have chronic illnesses or disabilities or mobility issues that limit your social activities. So maybe it's difficult to get around because you're confined to a wheelchair or something, or you have nobody to help you to move about, or the environment you are is not friendly for someone with a kind of disability to get around and interact and so on. So yes, these are some of the causes. Another is technology and social media. Now some people say, but social media is a connector now. Is that not what we're using to engage people more? In fact, there's even social media love. In fact, now you can reach so many people. But you know, there's a way you are reaching people without establishing emotional connections with them. I mean, think about it. How many of your how many of the people that you're following, or how many of the people who follow you, do you have meaningful emotional connections with, right? Somebody say, but this person means the world to me. But there has to be a sharing, and that will take us to the definition of emotional connections, because soon you'll find out that what you are calling emotional connection is not an emotional connection, you know. So the fact is, engaging on social media, it's somebody's birthday, before you pick up the phone and call your friend, hey guy, how far, something, happy birthday, what are you doing today, you know. Or sometimes if they're in the same city or something, you could even meet up and just spend some time together. But all of a sudden, people feel like, I liked his post on social media, so the guy puts up his picture and says, it's my birthday today, and you just go and like. In fact, sometimes you're too busy to just put happy birthday, or sometimes you try and just put emoji, a present emoji, heart emoji, celebration emoji, and in your mind you have shared a greeting, a wish with this person on their birthday. You can see that the emotional connection is not there, right? Like in the case where there was no social media and you actually had to engage face to face. Okay, so that's another cause for loneliness, right? Why people are not establishing this connection.
And it's interesting. It's interesting for me what you just mentioned, which is it's possible, you know, like I said, sometimes I go to my Facebook page, and on my birthday I get like hundreds of likes and comments, right, on my birthday, and a number of those likes and comments are copy and paste. It's like LinkedIn will already give you a prepared answer to say happy birthday, and then the person will just click it,
the one that works.
Yes, the one that works, and then it just gets to you. So the question I ask is, those social media touch points, are they actually emotional connections? Those likes, so maybe from my generation, and those of you that are online, it will be good to let us know if you feel like those social media connections are actually something, right? It will be good to know if those social media connections are actually something. But for me, I feel a lot of times that those social media connections, and I mean those likes, those LinkedIn posts, those copy and paste, for me, it just tells me, oh, this person got something, but it doesn't really say a lot to me. It doesn't mean so much to me as when somebody sends me a message, even if the person is sending the message and the person says, happy birthday, I thought of you. I know that one is not copy and paste.
Now that you said it will soon be AI generated.
So they will generate happy birthday, I thought of you. You understand? But you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I understand.
I'm saying in this day and age, part of what social media does is that, yes, it keeps people that are so far within our reach. But what I'm asking is, the generation that has met this social media, are they actually using it to make those meaningful social connections?
Or is it, yeah, okay, great. So we will get to what emotional connections are, and then we will now dissect and see if truly these other methods help us to achieve them. Before we continue with what's left of the causes, because we have 3 more to get to, I would like to go through some of the comments, because we have so many people that have joined us today.
Yeah, there's so many people. We have so many new people, and they're just coming in.
Yeah.
But we say hi to Paul, our in-house graphics, everything graphics that we do, everything, our creatives.
Yeah.
That's the guy that does it.
It's the long term,
the
emergency ones,
he's our graphics guy. So Paul, welcome. Thank you for being online today. Queen Debbie will celebrate you. John Jerry, we greet you all the way from Port Harcourt.
It says lonely at the top.
Lonely at the top.
Sometimes even the people at the bottom are lonely.
So the top is lonely, the bottom is lonely. So it tells you that this thing cuts across, because sometimes some people will say it is when you don't have money that you are lonely. Even people that have money are lonely, because sometimes the crowd that surrounds you when you have money don't really,
you can't really connect.
You're not really, so that's why the cocoa is that emotional connection. What is it? Do you understand? Right. Queen Debbie says the English is serious. So
thank you.
Omoron's good evening, how are you doing? Darabeni, good evening, we celebrate you all. It's good that you guys have joined us, and it will be good to get your feedback and to get your conversation. What do you think about this whole loneliness issue? Because it seems as if hardship makes it very prominent. Hardship exacerbates the loneliness. Do you understand?
The next English has come out.
So do you understand? Hardship just makes loneliness, it makes how alone you are very prominent. Because I spoke to some guys and they said because of how expensive it is to come out of your house, the moment it's hard to come out of your house now that the least 10k will not leave your hand. Even Uber now is a luxury.
Yes.
Do you understand? So because of how hard things are, even coming out of your house now is a cost. So because you cannot pay that cost to come out of your house, you are inside, and inside you are not able to connect with people, and you are suffering in silence. You are suffering in silence. So people are going through stuff, and that's why we are trying to reach out, and we are trying to awaken our community and awaken the consciousness to say, hey, you may be inside your house, but don't be alone.
Yes, and let's deal with this issue. So I'll say what the last 3 causes are for loneliness, and then we'll get to the emotional connection definition. So the next one is cultural factors, and this is when you have differences in language, customs, values, and so on. So because of these differences, you are not able to connect properly with people. Another is personality, personality traits. You know, some people say, I'm an introvert, I can't. In fact, there's this thing I watched about an introvert and how maybe they have their social tank, right? At some point, and then just in talking to one person, like say, hello, how are you? Or I am fine. Their tank is depleted. You know, it was a very graphic, should I say, depiction of how much it takes for an introvert to try to establish those connections. Well, yes, someone who says, I'm an introvert, or someone who says, I'm really shy, don't even know how to, you know, that's another one. And then the last one, where you live. Because sometimes you may be living in, and living is not just where your house is, where you are doing life. Are you in a place where you find people that you can establish emotional connections with? You know, this is where sometimes some ladies will tell me, in my department, I am the only single person. All the guys are married. I'm like, yes. Which other department are you? No other. I'm like, or you say in your church you are the only graduates, but that you like being there. In fact, let me not give too many examples.
No, please give it.
Because you are the only one in your church that is at this level of education. Everybody else is far beneath you. But that is the church you go to week on week, right? So in other words, for you to find someone that is even at your level intellectually is a problem. So unless the Lord shows you mercy, and then maybe a guest minister comes that's at that level, and then you guys click, then something could happen. If not, the likelihood of you connecting with someone is really
very low.
Yes, it's very low. So yes, so those are the causes. So now, emotional connection all over the place. What is this emotional connection? So emotional connection is a bond. It's a bond between people, but it's not just, oh, we have a bond, oh, I feel we have a vibe, there's something. We have to be able to distill it. What are the qualities of this bond. Number one, this bond should allow the people that have it, right, to be able to share their feelings, share their experiences, share their thoughts in a meaningful way. I should be able to talk to you, tell you how I'm feeling, tell you how my day has been, tell you what I'm about, tell you what I'm going through. You know, somebody you can share with in a meaningful way. The next thing, this bond should involve mutual understanding. So this is where you now test your social media connections, because social media, a lot of times people are sharing with you, but are you able to share equally back to them? Not necessarily all the time, unless you're having live sessions like this, and then people can get on maybe a Zoom or click on the link and come into your studio and engage you a lot, you know. But the level of connection you have to test. Is it meaningful? Is it mutual understanding? Is there empathy? Is there trust? Right? Do you have the ability to communicate openly and honestly? That's another one that you use to check social media, because we have people who actually create everything.
Fake life.
Okay. In summary. Yeah, in summary, fake life. So it's not as you see it, and sometimes you're now shocked when you hear shortly after. As in, you saw them smiling and happy and looking lovey-dovey,
and then the next thing you hear that.
And then next thing you hear, I mean, there's one that really shocked everybody recently, and it was like, how really, like, we thought, and you know, so really, is it honest? Is it open? That communication, you should check that. And then the last one is, does that bond help individuals to feel valued? That
valued.
Bond, does it help you feel valued? Does it help you feel supported? Does it help you feel understood? Right? Because if you have these things, you feel valued, you feel supported, you feel understood, then that way it fosters a sense of closeness, right? Because you're feeling like this person has got me, someone has got my back, somebody cares about me, somebody's looking out for me. Are you getting these things that we're talking about in the relationships that you have? So check these things that we have just mentioned. If you can check the box, number 1, number 2, number 3, then you can say, yes, I have an emotional connection.
This would be a good place. This would be a good place to dive into, just to piggyback on that thing that you said, that it's possible to be in a relationship and still be lonely.
Yeah.
Because you get the sense that if I am in a relationship, I'm going out with someone, I shouldn't be lonely. That's actually one of the reasons why people get into marriage. For companionship. That's one of the key reasons why people get into it, for companionship. But then when you realize that you are in a relationship and you are lonely, it means one of these components is out of place. Because the moment you are not being valued in a relationship, you feel isolated, you feel unseen, which is one of the key parts among young people. The feeling of being unseen. What is making you feel like you're not seen? That's why you post 1 like, 2 like, it's like, nobody's seeing me. And then you say, okay, maybe if I show a little more skin, because it's if I show a little more skin, then people will see me. So I will show a little more skin. And we will say, the values of this generation are being eroded. But it's because there's that quest, there's that desire to be seen, to be heard. And that's the clamor that you find surrounding young people these days. And those are the things that drive the generation of values. So you can see that there's an interconnect between personal well-being and societal degradation.
Really, really important. The part of being seen is so key, because really, you talked about companionship as well, and you're looking at the fact that I can go on a journey with you, and for the entire trip you can be right there beside me, but I'm not engaging.
Yes.
And you can tell on an airplane you're sitting beside someone. Some people, in fact, from the moment they sit down beside you, they'll just give you sign that I am not interested in any conversation. Plus those who pull their face cap to cover their face and just lean back and sleep. To those if it's business class that will wind their glass up right after they've gotten their wine to tell you no conversation, I'm sleeping through this, you know. But then you can also be on a flight and you say hello to someone, and the way they reply the hi, you know, okay, this is going to be an interesting trip because I am going to learn a lot from this person. And you can actually spend an entire flight getting into this other person's world, and by the time you are done with that trip, you feel like, hey, I know this person a little more. You've established some kind of connection. You shared freely and openly. And sometimes the good thing about this on the plane just is the fact that there's a place in your mind that you are thinking the likelihood that I will ever see this person again. and so you can actually
so you see, so that raises another point. Okay, that raises another point, and which is the fact that perhaps the reason people don't connect is the lack of trust in the world generally, in the environment, in society. There's a lack of trust. So, but the moment you feel like I can trust this person, or I can trust that this conversation is not going to appear anywhere, you can just open up. Do you understand? And that's why sometimes even in teaching communication, it's also about the fact that we have to evaluate the trust quotient, right, that we have in dealing with people, right? Someone said, I think it was last week, we said, oh, we want to talk about making friends, which is, and I hope we'll be able to touch on it in this session. The fact that somebody feels like if I do anything, if I say anything, how do I open up when I am not sure that the other person too is going to open up? So it's almost like I'm being cheated. So
wait, who is this person that you are talking to that was saying this? This person sounds like they're repeating my experience.
Oh, please do tell, share.
No, so because when we left secondary school, you know how you have friends that are living, or classmates that are living in your area and stuff, and you just go from time to time to visit. But you know me, by the time I go to the person's house, in 2 hours I probably told them my life history, you know, and then the people would just listen to me, and then now start talking about other people. So instead of them, I have shared my life. I'm expecting them to share their life back, but they are not doing that. Instead, maybe they want to bring up gist about this other girl in school and that other girl in the other place. And for me, I wasn't going to go down that path because it's not my thing to do. But I left a lot of those visits feeling cheated, in the words of this person, the exact words, feeling cheated, because it's like I've just shared so much with you. It's like I've given you something of me and you gave me nothing of you, so it didn't feel like a fair exchange. So at that time I told myself, I don't need this, so I stopped visiting people. I just shut down completely. I stopped going to people's houses after secondary school. You know that SS halls?
Yeah.
I went to the person that I know if I talk to him, he'll answer. Which was God. Even if he doesn't, I don't hear audible voice, I can read the Bible. So that's where my focus was. And I think it was a good investment. And not I think, it was a good investment. But it's really a reality that you will try sometimes to engage some people. You will take a first step and they do not reciprocate. So if you see that it's not happening, you also need to know, okay, all right, walking away, it's not the end of the world. I don't have to kill myself to get you to acknowledge me or to get you to want to share some of your life with me. If you're not ready for this, then I'm moving on. So there's the place to move on. You shouldn't be begging people for connection. It should be mutual. You saw that place, I said it should be mutually beneficial. You give some, I give some. You share some, I share some. And that's where the trust comes in. Because if I share that I won a prize in school and you tell me you won a prize in school, yeah, it's okay, we're all fine. If I tell you that, oh, the last test we took was really difficult for me, and you say, oh yeah, don't worry, I understand, I experienced something like that some time back, some vulnerabilities beginning to come in, right? Because now I'm speaking of a challenge, not a success, not something to be applauded about. If I feel like, hey, I told this person about an academic struggle and they didn't make me look bad. Instead, they shared something from their own experience and how they overcame. Some minute trust is beginning to build, right?
Yes.
Because now you're getting into some level of vulnerability. But if you're talking, the person is not bringing anything, you can't build trust.
See, you see this thing you're saying, it's just giving, it's almost like giving guidelines on how to make friends. Right, because the if we take very easily from the scripture, there's that scripture that says that he that must make friends must show himself friendly. So it needs to be a give and take. Because I asked some young people, how do people make friends these days? And I just saw a comment, that makes me want to let's go to the comments. How do people make friends these days? And someone there is speaking about AI generated friends.
I think
right.
you should read some comments.
Let me read that, and I'll come back to this thought, about making friends. Some comments. Femi Fash, great job, sir and ma. Your friend from Jan. Femi, I greet you, sir. It's been a while. Timora says, the lonely at the top. Is that not Ashake? He's the one. So, but these days, even at the bottom, there's a lot of loneliness. John says, in today's world where AI is the new bestie, and AI can synchronize feelings, and people communicate and feel safe with a machine and programming, and so it just tells you the loss of human trust. Do you understand? And so this is AI coming in, and that's true. It says this emotional connection must still be with human being or with machine, right?
Well, I guess for that one, you have to think of the end game. If all you need is just to feel like you're connected to something, and you don't need the thing to be physically present, tangible for you to touch. Wait. I know you are saying that they have designed robots.
I was going to go there.
Who are able to do that?
I watched it on CNN.
Commercially available.
It is commercially available in China. There's AI boyfriend.
Yes.
Do you understand?
But it hasn't reached Nigeria yet. So by the time it becomes available to the African populace, we'll revisit the subject. But really, if you're looking for something, what can the AI give you? If you're satisfied with what it can give you, your decision ultimately, right? If you're looking for a human being that can do what human beings can do, apart from just conversations and stuff like that, if a human being is what will meet your need, then we go with the human being, John. So you decide, right? It's your choice at the end of the day. Yes. And then yes.
He says for relationship AI generated babe, people live with okay, I didn't get that. Femi Fa says AI boyfriend. Yes, so
there's somebody that said he was going to marry his AI girlfriend and stuff like that. I mean, people have married trees, So there's a woman that married a tree.
I'm sure this is on that TikTok university that you always attend.
This one was somewhere else. I can't remember where. But there's a woman that married a tree. People have married all sorts. So marrying a virtual AI boyfriend or AI girlfriend is also not strange. You will see all sorts, but at the end of the day, what are you looking for, right? And what are your values as an individual? Somebody can say, I am purely intellectual, I need to interact with a higher mind. That is all I need in life. Do what you need, right? So that's up to you. Bottom line, your values, right? So
it comes back to that place where we're talking about why people get lonely, and the dirt of friendship, true friendship.
How to start this whole friendship?
How to start friendship? How to make connections? How to get social, right? Because a lot of what's happening with young people is no longer social. Do you understand? You get people that all go to the same. They all are in the same circles, and they frequent and they see each other a certain number of times. But you will find out that even after a while, they still don't know each other.
Yeah. So the thing is, you have to be intentional about it, right? So these are some of the things that you can do. Decide. I want to have emotional connections. I want to have somebody that I can share with, someone I can be open with, someone I can be vulnerable with, someone that's, I can have this mutually beneficial exchange of information and care and support and all of that with. Decide. If you have decided that, all right, let's start the journey, it means you have to find the person. So where am I going to find them? You look for them wherever, because you can find them anywhere. You can find them. There are people who have met someone at work, so this colleague goes from just being a colleague to being like a brother, serious friend, strong emotional connections, right? Some people marry their colleagues. Sometimes it's a female colleague that's in same sex, and you people are just really good, solid friends, right? Like a brother, like a sister, and so on. So wherever it is you meet them, whether it's in the office, whether it's in a supermarket, wherever it is, you have to engage. You have to start that conversation, because that's the way to get to know people. So sometimes you decide, okay, I'm trying to network in my organization beyond maybe my country. Maybe you're going for a global event. If you just go and stay with your country people, you will come back knowing only your country people.
True.
Even though you were in a conference with people from all over the globe, you have to be intentional. So for instance, you decide, okay, I'm not going to sit at the same spot. Today I'll sit here, tomorrow I'll sit there. And then for everywhere I sit, I'm going to make a friend with somebody on my table. Do you understand? I'm going to make friends with someone on my table. So you just scan. Sometimes maybe it's from the general introductions, and then somebody says something that you have an interest in or that resonates with you. You're feeling, oh, this person sounds interesting. I'd like to get to know them more, right? And then you say, oh, that was nice. Oh, really cool. I like this about you. A comment, something. And then the person takes notes that you applauded or appreciated something about them. And you can say, that thing you spoke of, really cool, I would like to hear more about it. Maybe we'll talk during the break or something. And then during the break, you can touch base with the person. Or you can follow up if it was Zoom and say, that's your program that you do, send me the link, I'd like to participate. Or you find them on LinkedIn and say, hello, I was on your group, during the meet and greet or something. Just start from there. And if it's face to face, then, so where are you from? So how did you get here? Tell me a little more about your background. And then you're like, wow, and the things, and it's not being fake. It's really finding the unique things that person has done, the person has accomplished, that you are like, wow, this is beautiful. Or maybe just the richness of their experience so far. It's just for you to learn to spot those things and appreciate them. And as the person is sharing, you can begin to weigh what are this person's values from what I'm hearing. It's the kind of person I would like to establish that emotional connection you decided you want to establish. Is this the kind of person, But if as you're hearing some things are hitting you, and like, and another one like, and you're like, no, not this person. You just politely finish listening to them. Wow, it was really nice getting to know this about you. And like, I wish you the best in life. I mean, maybe I'll follow you on social media or something, right? Yeah, okay, all right. So see you, enjoy the rest of the day, bye. So you end it there if you already see from just this conversation that some values are already not aligned. You don't need to waste your time. Move on. Get to meet other people. You find somebody that this person is sounding like, oh yes, right values, similar interests, a number of those things, and you're like, aha, this looks like it might work, and then you take it from there. So you have to be intentional about growing your network. You have to be intentional about establishing those emotional connections. If you do not have anybody in your life that you have that kind of connection with, and you are now in a position where you feel lonely.
Interesting. So I'm looking at the things you're saying, and then I'm also thinking about some of the engagements that we have had within the week about people who are in these positions, and you're thinking lonely. Some people you are asking the question, it's not everybody that can do this deliberate step kind of thing. So for people that have this personality where they are introverted, how do you help? Because sometimes you don't know when the loneliness has gone from just being introverted to the person being depressed. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Because, so the person can be alone, and we're saying this because there's a lot of people that need to that you need to exist in communities. The way times are right now, it's not a time to walk alone. You know, I say in this season when it comes to life, I'm a Liverpool fan. Never walk alone. But in football, no, I'm Arsenal for life. Yes, no, there's no contest. Yes, so you people can be eyeing me. I don't care. I'm Arsenal. I'm going out.
Why are you looking at me?
I'm looking at you so that all those
I'm the same space as long as football is concerned.
Yes, all those other people that are there, I'm not looking at their faces and all of that. Yes, so, but my point is that there are some people's personality that they cannot even be that deliberate to say we want to step out. So,
what should they do? What can they do?
What can they do? That's number one. Number two, this is to everybody out there. This is a season where people need to connect, where people need to exist in communities. Do you understand? Exist in communities. We used to say back then it takes a community to raise a child, but some of us are already adults now. We don't even have communities. Do you understand? If you say name 5 people that if you call them, they will pick your call. It doesn't matter when. Do you understand? It will be hard to find sometimes these days. Some people do have because of their personality, but those people that don't have, how do we help them?
You know, as you're speaking of this part, I remember Cool Runnings. Who remembers that movie? Cool Runnings.
See,
I'm sure
if you remember it, we just know your age.
How old you are. Cool Runnings. There was this guy, right? The black guy that was small and all and was very timid and stuff. And then this other person came and told him, stand, look yourself in the mirror. Say, I see pride. I see power. I see a badass whatever that won't take no crap from nobody.
Yeah.
You know? And then
that's personal psyching.
Yeah,
personal psyching.
Say it again. And he said it to the point where he now went to go and challenge somebody that was too big for him. Somebody will say, motivational speaker.
I don't deceive this one.
But there's a time when you actually need motivational speakers, right?
Especially for yourself.
Yes, well, there's a time when you need ginger for certain things. It may be that. What?
Queen Debbie says she knows Cool Runnings. Debbie, you're old school though. You're a very young girl with old school mind. How can you know Cool Runnings? Wow. Is that, or did they still show it in South Africa?
Quite interesting. Yeah, so even though it was about Jamaica's bobsled team, right? Anyway, I can't even remember the song. Let me not dwell there too much. Anyway, so as I was saying, sometimes you need motivational speakers. Sometimes you need
for yourself.
Yes, you need somebody to tell you do this and then you do it. You need somebody to encourage you to do it and you do it. So if it is a motivational speaker that you will get that will help you to tell yourself, I need to do this and so I will do it, then go ahead. If it is that you will go and see scriptures that tell you be strong and be courageous and be bold, I am with you and stuff like that, go ahead. If it is that maybe you're having issues with your self-esteem and so on, and you need to read scriptures that tell you you are created in God's image and likeness, you are fearfully and wonderfully made and stuff like that, and you repeat it to yourself and so on, and you're motivated enough to go out and do what you need to do, then do it. If you need to be like David, where it's like, I don't know where encouragement is coming from, so I will encourage myself in the Lord. So you tell yourself, babe, you gotta do what you gotta do. And you tell, because really, if you don't do it, it will not be done. So when you look at it, sometimes maybe we have to treat life like our jobs.
Yes.
Because when you are working for somebody, or maybe it's your business, and you know, if I don't do this, money is not coming, and we need to eat, you will get up and you will go and do what needs to be done. So the same
you will not be waiting.
Yes. So the same way, when you see that this is something that I need to establish emotional connections with people so that I have a healthy a healthy social life, and
yes.
I am not lonely, then you will tell yourself, because I need to do it, so I need to get to it. How will you do it in the office? They tell you what's the vision, what's the goal, what's the plan, right? And then you now have to make the plan smart and then break it down into smaller steps that you take one by one. So part one may be let me just start saying hi to everybody. Get comfortable with saying hi, respond, hearing their response, and adding maybe one more comment before you move on. Build on that. You've done that. Step 1 done. You've mastered it. Now move to the part where you start identifying something of interest that can take the conversation to the next level, and learn to listen. You can actually take a course on communication, because sometimes people are like, I don't know how to. There are courses. Just go and type now, how to communicate better. You just see videos, you see write-ups, you see all sorts. You can even ask your AI babe, John, tell me how to establish communication with human beings. And you'll get an answer. So anyway, John Jerry has a question. I don't know how much time we have left, but
we have just about 5 minutes.
Okay.
John says, my question will again be about emotional connection. How do we make friends back in the days compared to these days? Even our neighbors, we can live for 10 years and we don't know them. We don't share. And then he says, these days, no visitation, no Christmas rice, no Salah meat, sit outside, no tales by moonlight.
Yeah.
This was those things that we did back then. So yeah, things are hard. Now I want to add something to what he has said, and then we probably need to tie it up to answer. Is how do you help couples that are in a marriage but they're still lonely? Do you understand?
Yeah.
So I can take that one, and then you can take this one, right? So that you can take this one where he's asking about emotional connection these days.
So yeah, John talked about how it used to be back in the day, and some things he mentioned, example, Tales by Moonlight. Tales by Moonlight, yeah, it was a program on TV, but it was actually from the reality of that day, that you would have children come out, and sometimes an elder would share stories just to help them understand more about culture and so on, life lessons, values, and so on. Yeah, so that used to happen. And of course, NEPA used to be a good way to make everybody come out of the house.
Yes.
So by the time there's power outage, everybody comes out, because most people could not afford generators back then.
Yes.
But now some people have generators, so they stay in even when there's a power outage because they have their power supply. And now with solar and stuff, more people are staying in instead of coming out. But you can make the most. Don't wait for things to force people out of their house. Leverage the things that that are already working, right? Example, you are somewhere where there are people.
Yeah.
Make the most of that, which we have already discussed, right? And then in your estate, some estates do it better than others, especially people who live in estates. And now this is the Lagos context. You have some estates also in other states that are really fantastic. Some estates, you see how the people come together. Some use their estate association. Others, maybe someone somewhere decides, hey, oh yeah, let's gather. We want to roast suya. I want to do barbecue or something.
Yeah.
Let's eat and have fun. There's ice cream for the kids and stuff. And then everybody comes out. It's nice and interesting. You get to understand the people, at least know the people around you, and begin to say, okay, that one is young like me. Oh, this one has children my age and stuff. So sometimes you also see that it's the children that brings the connection together.
Yes.
So just whatever it is that is showing up, that is developing around you, make the most of it. If your kids are bringing you together, great. If suya is bringing you together, fantastic. For some people, if wine is bringing you together,
carry go. Now, no, so I would want to speak to I would want to speak to the couples, to couples that are in marriage but you're getting lonely. Sometimes it still boils down to that whole concept of being couples but not being friends, right? You need to know how to be friendly to your spouse. You need to know how to make friends with your spouse. You need to know how to talk about things of common value or of common consequence, or just talk and share. Do you understand? So sometimes it's a case of, we work in two different industries, so we don't connect.
But I can come and just say about pumps.
Yes, so for example, she works in oil and gas, and I'm a bloody businessman. So but by the time she comes and she's telling me about pumps and fire water, and what's all of those waste and these things, safety, health. Those things they are not my business. I really don't care about them.
But you just listen.
I don't care about them, but I care about her. So because I care about her, I am listening to her talk about them. So that's all she needs. But that's really the part about making the effort. So as couples that are married, you have to make the effort to listen to the nonsense that your spouse needs to say. I mean, that's really how it begins. By the time you listen to that nonsense over a period of time, you start talking like me. Like when I talk to people in oil and gas, they think I'm in the field. But I don't know. I just listen to nonsense. You understand? So that's how you make the connection. Sometimes it also for couples again, you also need to talk about the things that matter to both of you, not just the things that both of you are trying to solve. A lot of time the children take up the majority of the conversation space between a husband and a wife. So that when they get to points where the children are not at home, there's nothing to talk about. There's a lot of silence. You do your own, but by the time we come, there's really nothing to talk about. It's either this person is on the phone or that person is on the laptop, and there's no connection. And that's the place where we really need to look at as couples. And
I'd like to add.
Yeah, please do.
On this couples part, if you just go back to what we said earlier and just dissect it. Number one, look for how to share feelings, experiences, and thoughts between yourselves in a meaningful way. That's number one. So find ways to share. Someone may say, I'm not interested, it's not my career. Yeah, but at least listen. And if it's taking too long, you can tell them round up. Like we tell ourselves sometimes, like it's getting too long.
I said, can you bring it to the nearest whole
number?
So, but you see, that's also something. People have to get used to the idea of laughing at themselves. Do you understand? Sometimes, okay. Sometimes we take ourselves a little too seriously, even though people say I take myself a little too seriously. I'm at the other end, but it's helping me. But you need to learn how to laugh at yourself and laugh with yourself and other people. So sometimes just calm down small. This life is already too serious like that. So find how to calm down. So
then the next one is to try to understand this person and try to understand them and and the flip side, right? And then also try to build in empathy. So when somebody tells you this is what I went through, don't be like, and so or something, or like, come on, you're an adult, you should be able to handle that. No, there's empathy. Sometimes someone just wants you to hear them and say, oh, that was really terrible. So how did you deal with it? Oh, I'm so sorry you had to go through that, honey. Don't worry, it will be better. Something. It's just empathy, right? Empathize. Allow trust. Let somebody feel safe with you and so on. And then, of course, make them feel valued. Make your spouse feel valued. Let them feel your support. And lastly, let them feel understood.
Thank you. That just puts it in perspective. There's a lot that we have said. I think this is one of those videos where you may need to watch it again to just pick out some points and some highlights. Fred came and is dropping this question. I have to close. They've given us instruction to close, but they wanted to close. My question: has civilization affected our ways of relationship due to the times where people will come out and get together? Unlike these days, everyone is on their gadgets. There is power supply that people don't actually sit together to tell stories by moonlight, like Jerry asked earlier. Yes, civilization has affected it, but humans are the ones that design the systems around which they live. The system shouldn't control the humans that live in them. Do you understand? So that means that as much as civilization is there, westernization is there, we must also pay attention to we must pay attention to our culture. What is our culture? And I will end with this. When you look at K-dramas, which they are making me watch, by the way. I will not call names. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. I'm looking this way. And if you watch K-dramas, in the busyness of their lives, and their system is a class-based system. So in all of that, you still find that they come to the place where even after all they come back to the family table and around food. they are building community. There's none of their movies you will watch that they will not expressly show different kinds of food and they eating around food. So what am I saying? I'm saying that in our own culture too, we must find ways, right, to have this meaningful engagement. It cannot always be when we come together, we are all on our phone. When you come to my house and you come to visit us, my wife will say, turn off the TV. So let's be looking at ourselves. We must find something to talk about, right? And that's where Taste by Moonlight come out. I talk my own, you talk your own. Do you understand? We cannot blame it on westernization.
Yeah.
Really, we must say, okay, westernization has come, technology has come, but what's our culture?
Yeah.
So it also tells you how whittled down our sense of history is as a people, as individuals. That sense of who am I? How did I get here? What are the values that raised me? What are the customs that raised me? We don't have any of those. We don't have any of those cultures where we just in the evening sit down at the feet of the elders and just hear them. Do you understand?
Now the elders are back home. Rest of us are in the cities.
And in the cities. But then we should we among ourselves, and I would say this to close. I've said I will close 3 times, but it's just that this is close to my heart. I will say this to close. Please, if you're out there and you are lonely, reach out for help. Reach out to me. Reach out to my wife. Reach out on the comment. Reach out on Facebook. Reach out to any of our links. Just talk to somebody before you do anything. Talk to somebody. Don't go it alone. This is not the season to be alone. Reach out to your social group if you have any, your church if you have any. Reach out to a therapist. We are licensed. You can reach out to us. Let's just talk, right? And I'm sure you'll be able to make that meaningful connection that we talk about.
Yes. Woohoo! And on that note, we're calling it a wrap on the show today. Thank you so much, everybody, for being with us. I think it's been really engaging. Thanks to everyone who shared a comment, shared or asked a question.
Lydia Idachaba.
Yes, Lydia, hi.
Hi.
She says more grace. Thank you so much, Lydia. So, like we always say, if you've gotten value here, please leave a like and share with other people that need this information. Let's help our brothers, let's help our sisters. Let's share the information that will help everybody do better. So take care of yourselves, and until next time, remember, common sense is not so common. Bye. Like, share, subscribe. Bye.
Remember to subscribe also.
Thank you once again for joining us. We hope you got great value today. Our goal is to bring you valuable information to help you make better decisions in your life and relationships. Please do not forget to subscribe, share, and like.